Yo, what's up YouTube? What's going on today? In this video, we're talking about the real reason why Sumire and Sarada won't fall for Eida's abilities. And I think it's pretty simple actually. That is because Boruto and Kawaki are Otsutsukis. You heard that right. So me and Dr. Wiki were discussing this. Dr. Wiki said in the comments that what if the person that Eida's ability affects actually falls in love with an Otsutsuki and they don't fall for Eida's powers, since Eida's powers don't work against an Otsutsuki. I added more to that, saying that what if the Otsutsukis enchant their own mate? Now that could be a possibility. Let's start from the very beginning. Remember Kaguya and Tenji? When Kaguya first fell down, she was basically an enemy of the land, but then she ended up falling in love with Tenji and Tenji ended up falling in love with her. Then they end up having kids. They didn't really explain on how they really fell in love, but I think Kaguya enchanted Tenji and thus they fell in love because he was all up in them guts, alright? But looking at Tenji, Tenji was willing to sacrifice Kaguya once she was a threat. So what if the Otsutsuki enchants the human that they have feelings for, and thus that person won't be affected by anyone else's feelings? And this could apply to Sarada and Sumire, because if you look at Sarada started building up her feelings for Boruto in the beginning of the Boruto series, but carefully look at episode 65 and chapter 10, mainly chapter 10. After Boruto got the karma, him and Sarada are talking on top of the Hokage stone faces, and notice that when Boruto says, "I'll become your right hand man and I'll protect you," you notice how Sarada says, "Why is Boruto all of a sudden so cool?" So what if the case at that moment is that Sarada actually fell for Boruto's enchanted ability because Boruto got the karma? Momoshiki was starting to take over Boruto's body slowly as the karma started progressing. In a sense, he was starting to become an Otsutsuki at that moment. And what if this ability starts as soon as you start becoming an Otsutsuki? That could explain how Sarada was able to fall in love with Boruto even more during chapter 10. And over time her feelings are real because she got closer to Boruto and she knows how his brain thinks and everything, but Boruto's karma automatically enchanted Sarada, meaning she's protected against everyone else who has feelings for her. And the only people who can break the enchanted spell is another Otsutsuki. Now this is where it gets even more interesting. Now this goes on to Sumire. Sumire had feelings for Boruto, but notice how she started hanging around Kawaki even more. Kawaki being the other Otsutsuki, he was able to break Boruto's enchanted spell on Sumire. Kawaki then enchanted her, and thus Sumire started having more feelings for Kawaki, and thus she's not able to fall for Eida. As we see in this chapter, Sumire was more worried about Kawaki by asking Eida, "What do you see in Kawaki that interests you?" She was blushing there. This is before she started thinking, yo, we cannot show our true feelings. So what if she actually likes Kawaki now? And Boruto and Kawaki automatically enchanted Sarada and Sumire. Thus, those two don't fall for Eida's abilities because they're enchanted by an Otsutsuki power, and Eida's powers don't work against Otsutsukis. So they're basically protected by the Otsutsukis. So the Otsutsukis have their own enchantress abilities to the person that they like. Alright, now I know there hasn't been any confirmation on who likes who except Sumire, but there is a high chance that Boruto and Sarada do like each other, and Kawaki and Sumire will be a thing. Those two have spent a lot of time together since Kawaki arrived. Sumire was the first person that Kawaki met as well. So what if Kawaki enchanted her at that moment because Sumire understood Kawaki? Remember the alleyway? Kawaki let his guard down up until he saw the needle, but then later on in chapter 56 and episode 219-220, you see that she injects Kawaki. Kawaki lets down his guard to only Sumire. So Kawaki's overridden Boruto's enchantment on Sumire. So that is the reason why I think Sarada and Sumire won't fall for Eida's abilities. Otsutsuki can capture their mate's heart, and only other Otsutsuki can break the enchantment on them. Because if you look at every other Otsutsuki so far, only Kaguya and Tenji were one couple. Now we have Boruto and Kawaki, Sarada and Sumire. Momoshiki never met any girl. Ishiki never met any girl besides Kaguya. But that was a long time ago. Now let's look at Toneri. Toneri was slowly capturing Hinata's heart. He was basically trying to override Hinata and make her have feelings for him. But he was doing it the hard way. As for the real Otsutsuki, like Boruto and Kawaki, who are pure, they were able to enchant their own lovers, as Toneri wasn't. So to me it makes sense that the Otsutsukis have their own enchantment on the opposite sex that they like. For Boruto it's Sarada, and for Sumire it's Kawaki. Now this is where it's gonna get even more interesting, because the creators are going to milk this love stuff. Sumire and Sarada are the only two with Shikamaru that know that they don't fall for Eida's abilities, and they don't know the reason why. And then you have Momoshiki here, who has found out what Eida's powers really are. So what if Momoshiki tells Boruto that Eida's powers don't work against an enchanted lover of the Otsutsuki? That means Boruto is not going to know Sarada or Sumire's feelings till later on, more towards the end of part 1 and just before the time skip, because Boruto doesn't know that those two can't fall in love, and Sarada and Sumire are going to keep it on the low until it gets revealed later on just before the time skip. Then we're finally going to get some confirmation on who has feelings for who, and this is most likely going to be in the next chapters, and this is going to follow Naruto part 1, because in the whole series of Naruto part 1 they slowly started building up the relationships, and then in Shippuden they showed showed a bit more love. The same thing will apply to Boruto. They've been building up Sarada and Boruto's relationship on top of Sumire and Kawaki's since the beginning. And most likely their feelings will get revealed before the time skip, and then when they go into the time skip, their feelings will be even enchanted more where they turn into real love. Right now they like each other, and that will turn to love during the time skip, which will lead to the end game of Boruto. So the creators aren't going to give their feelings right now. They're going to wait just before the time skip and evolve the feelings into the time skip. So that is it. This is the real reason why I think Sarada and Sumire won't fall for Eida's abilities. Now I know there's been a bunch of different theories. Some say they have Otsutsuki DNAs and stuff. I believe those theories too, because Sumire has Nu, which is Kaguya's pet or ability, and then you have Sarada, who is of Indura's bloodline. And then there's a theory that both those girls already have somebody in their heart, and that they can't fall for Eida's abilities because they already love someone. And in my own theory, it's possible that girls are affected differently than boys when they fall for Eida's abilities. For example, if a girl is not in love, she will fall for Eida's abilities. But if a girl is in love, she won't fall for Eida's abilities. And when a girl does fall for Eida's abilities, girls have stronger feelings than boys. And that we've seen with Delta. Delta wanted to see Eida really badly. Now this is a fresh Delta who hasn't fallen in love before. And if you look at the girls we've seen so far, only Sumire and Sarada are the only two girls who we know have feelings for the boys, and they haven't been affected by her powers. And I think for the guys it's completely different. I think they'll fall for her regardless if they have somebody in their heart. That is the whole point of the feminine beauty. It attracts the opposite sex. So guys will always fall prey to her powers, except they're not Otsutsuki. As for girls who are in love, they won't be affected by her powers. Though we'll probably find out in the next few chapters on what Eida's powers really are, but I think this is a possibility. Let me know what you guys think of this, because there's a bunch of different theories going around, but those are the main ones so far. So that is it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos to come.